Happy New Year, everybody. This is Health Highlights. Health Highlights is a show about health, health professionals, and the people and the stories behind the names we hear about, but we seldom get to meet. Now, it's a new year, so what we thought is we would start with something that might really inspire you to maybe make a few changes in your world. Now, does mess, though, really hurt anyone? Now, I don't know when the last time you thought about actually decluttering your house, your garage, or your car. But today we have an internationally renowned podcaster, Kirsty Farrugia, who has over 150,000 downloads to her podcast in only 5 months. And she's internationally renowned now and was actually on The Sunrise Show just recently, weren't you? So welcome.
Thank you, Simon. Thanks for having me.
So firstly, tell us about The Sunrise Show. How did you get to be on Sunrise and what was that like for your business?
It was great for my business.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got on it. I do. Somebody was listening to the podcast and said that they should have us on, and so they rang me up completely out of the blue, and it was like, yes, do you want to be on Sunrise? I was like, yes, I do want to be on Sunrise.
So good. Yeah. Who wouldn't want to be?
I know, right?
So you're a professional organiser.
Yes,
or you specialise in helping people declutter their houses. Can you just explain to everyone what you actually do and how that works?
Yes, I can. So I come into people's homes who feel overwhelmed with their clutter in their home, and I help them to declutter their stuff, help them to de-own things, and then I help them to organise things. And provide storage solutions for them and help them to figure out the best way and the flow of their home and the best way to have their home operating.
Wonderful. So de-own, I love that word. Now, just a quick tip. I've got a shirt that I had since year 10, so that's about 30 years ago. Maybe do I need to de-own that one?
I think maybe you do.
Oh, my wife's been telling me that for so long. Okay, so a professional organiser. Now, I've heard on the grapevine that when you were a bit younger that you certainly weren't organised. So how did you get to become a professional organiser?
Maybe, Simon, you remember how...
I do remember. We did know one another way back before she was famous, actually.
You have been into my family home growing up. So how I got to be more organised was that I married a beautiful man, also named Simon. And his way of life carries a lot of ease and a lot of grace. And so I watched him, and in the rub that is marriage, I was taught a lot of things by him. And I wanted to, I wanted to have that ease and grace that he has in his life. So I taught myself a lot of habits. And so I think that I can help anybody to overcome long-held habits, because I am a beautiful, not so beautiful example of overcoming a lifelong habit of being messy and being cluttered. And now I live in a very clutter-free home, and a home that flows with ease and grace as well.
I love it. And I see that there's a bit of passion there, because you've been one place and you really want to help people come to this place now.
Yes.
And so for you personally, what has it done to be more organised?
It has freed up a lot. It has given me freedom. Freedom from that constant thought that I have things to do and I've got this huge mental to-do list. It has freed me up from... It frees me to a whole lot of things as well. It frees me to be able to get together with friends on a whim. It frees me to invite people over. It frees me to be able to say yes to my kids when they ask me to do things, because I'm not actually running around my house trying to juggle as many balls, because we just have a lot less in our home. We've decluttered our schedule as well. And so it just provides so much freedom and a whole lot of joy.
Wonderful. So do you find it a fulfilling profession to be in, to be actually helping people find freedom?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it.
Awesome.
I love my job. I love seeing the transformation in people, in their homes, in their physical space, but I also love seeing the transformation that occurs in their mental space from just tweaking a few simple habits and from freeing them from a whole lot of stuff. Like today I was working with a client and we worked through so many boxes of paperwork that had been neglected for a few years, and just that simple act, and it wasn't simple, but it's a simple act in some ways. She never has to look at those pieces of paper ever again. She's dealt with them, they've gone, or they've been filed correctly, and so she never ever has to think of those boxes. And that's what I love.
Yeah, so good.
Love it, and I love even more than the physical space. I love seeing that transformation in people's minds of and that freedom that comes with not having to think about items again because they're no longer in your possession, and also the clarity that comes from having habits that are transformational to their physical space and to their families.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you've been doing this for a while now. So can you give us a summary of probably some of the areas that we characteristically in our life tend to clutter more than others, and why would we tend to clutter those areas more?
Great question. So the areas that I find are the most cluttered are entryways, and particularly if people have a hall stand, or the kitchen table, or the closest room to being able to, the closest space to being able to dump things.
Yes.
And the other place is a dumping room.
Yes.
A junk
Yes.
room. If you have one of them, that is often a cluttered space as well. And the reason why I think that they are the spaces that we tend to clutter the most is mostly two things. That we don't have a home for everything. So when we bring items into their home, we haven't pre-thought about where it is that they live. Mm-hmm. So if we buy new stuff or we're bringing mail in, we don't think about where that home is. And so we procrastinate giving it a home. And so that the other thing is procrastination. I know as God's biggest procrastinator that it is a common habit for Australians to have. We procrastinate. We don't like dealing with things. We'd rather put something down and think that we're going to come back to it, and we rarely do come back to it. So I think just changing those two habits can see transformation in most people's houses.
So really, is it just that we're not organised as people, or that we just gather too much stuff? Like, what are some of the reasons why we tend to find ourselves in a completely decluttered environment? Are there any particular traits that we have?
I think that we love consumerism.
Yes.
Here in Australia, we love buying things, and I think that online shopping has made that a whole lot easier too, because we can just sit here at night whilst watching TV on Netflix and just shop and be not very intentional in our purchases. I think that we can so I think consumerism is one of the biggest things that's affecting our clutter in our homes, because we're not being thoughtful and intentional about what we're choosing to bring into our homes. We're not thinking, do I, for your t-shirt that you have since year 10.
Rugby top. It's a rugby top.
Sorry,
yes.
Rugby top. When you let that go, are you going to think to buy a new rugby top?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Which is a great thing. But often people, one, don't get rid of that old rugby top, and then two, well, I'm not wearing that rugby top because it was something that I wore 25 years ago, but I do need another rugby top. And so they'll go out and buy another rugby top without letting go of the first one. Oh,
very good. And so how do we know when we're in a place where we actually probably need someone to come and help us? Like, where do we get to, and where I really need professional help? What would you say to someone out there who maybe is struggling a little bit? What's the line, or does everyone need someone like yourself?
No, not everybody needs me. I love working with everybody and anybody who just needs somebody to come in and either fast track their work, like fast track getting their house decluttered, or if they're really feeling stuck and feeling overwhelmed and don't know where to start. That a lot of my clients actually call me because they're just feeling so overwhelmed that they don't know where to start, and so they need somebody to come in and walk with them and sit in their mess with them and sit with their stories and sit with their stuff and just really help them ask the right questions to be able to let things go or to find the right place for them in their home. Because I'm not here to tell everybody to get rid of all their stuff. I want you to give honour to the things that are worthy of being given honour to in your home, and then let go of things that no longer serve the vision that you have for your home. But yes, it can just be somebody who used to be really organised, but the fun and joy that comes with family
Oh,
and
yes.
the busyness of family, they just might need to have that kickstart into establishing their habits of organisation and clutter-free. And I fast-track people's progress. So what might take somebody a year of slowly decluttering, it can be done in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
Wow. Well, that certainly would be helpful for a lot of people to get that done in that sort of amount of time.
Yeah.
So take that pressure off.
Yeah.
So it's a new year.
Yes, it is.
And I'm sure there's lots of people out there who think, you know what? That's a great idea. I need to declutter. What would be your top tips for them this year about helping them start down the process of decluttering not only their home, but I'm sure, and I've heard you talk about, we need to declutter our lives as well. So what are your top tips?
So my top tip, my number one tip, is to have a vision for your home and a vision for your life. So sit down with your partner or your family and really think about what it is that you want your home to look like, what you want it to feel like, and how you want other people to feel in your home. So how you want your children to feel in your home, how you want visitors to feel in your home, what is it that you want to feel in your home, and then what will help to make that vision come to life. So, and I think that's a great place to start in this new year.
Absolutely.
Like creating that vision for your home and creating that vision for your life. And then you can decide what needs to stay in your home, what needs to be let go of, what needs to stay in your calendar, and what you need to have the power to say no to.
Wonderful. Well, look, that's been some fabulous information. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For coming and sharing with us. We're not going to leave it there though, because we want to do another episode next week. And we want to get a bit more practical, because you've heard a little bit about what Kirsty does, but we really want to go a bit deeper, hear your mind, have a look at some stuff, and really sort of dig deep at how we can declutter and some of the things that we can actually put into place in our own lives to really start down that process. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Simon.
We'll see you next week, same time, 12:30 on Wednesday. Remember, healing is a gift, health a responsibility. We'll see you next week. See you later.